we're recording this a little early. It's projected to only do about 30 million opening weekend. That'd be the first of the series to be under 50. Definitely not what's was it Sony?
I
Paramount?
believe so.
I forget. Not what they wanted when they greenlit this sequel. But spoilers, I actually kind of liked it more than I expected, given the critical panning. To be
Mhm.
honest, we'll get into that. But what did you think? Do you think this deserves more viewers?
Uh, uh, so it's at a 26% Rotten Tomatoes, or
Consensus.
24%, which I think is a little bit low. I think that this is a fun movie, unnecessary. I don't know if anyone was clamoring for another Men in Black movie, but when we heard that Tessa Thompson and Chris Hemsworth are going to be teaming up, I mean, who doesn't want to see more of them together? And I, I honestly think
People I don't want to
they,
be around. That's who.
I honestly think that they were great. And I, I think my biggest critique of the movie was I don't think it was as funny as I thought it was going to be. And I also felt like it was telegraphed. It, if you've seen Liam Neeson in a movie in the last 3 years, he always starts off as a good guy and he always becomes the bad guy. So just expect it at this point.
Right. Well, yeah. The thing about Liam Neeson too is like the trope of sorts of one guy who's supposed to be on your side doubts you and goes after you, and they clearly set it up so he's the actual bad guy, but no, it's the guy who was really your ally all along. He's the villain. Like we've seen that framework, that
Yeah.
skeleton before, right? But also someone like Liam Neeson isn't going to sign on for the check to this movie, this franchise movie, if he doesn't get something fun and cool to do, right?
Mhm.
Unless he's only going to be in the movie for like 2 seconds, like Emma Thompson, right?
Right.
So it was just very obvious where that was going to go. Um, and that's obviously disappointing just because yeah, it just feels a little amateur. But
Mhm.
yeah, and by the way, this was Sony, and any money they might lose on this, they'll make back with Spider-Man: Far From Home soon, so yeah, we'll be okay. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's funny. This movie cost literally half as much as Men in Black 3, only 110 million production budget, which says a lot about how fucking dumb expensive Men in Black 3 was. But I think they
Mhm.
said it needs to make 300 million to break even. So we'll see how the international grosses this week. That'll obviously give us a great idea as if that's realistic or not. But I was, reflecting on the movie, and if we're being honest, Men in Black 1 is the only Men in Black movie that matters, that's any
Yeah.
good. And when you already have a bunch of bad sequels, I really don't like when people go after the new bad sequel and say it's ruining anything, because that's just not true. Like people did that with Jurassic Park, which
Yeah.
again has one good movie in its series and like one movie that's kind of fun in Jurassic World 1. Like
Mhm.
so it's like bad sequels don't matter when there's already been bad sequels, right? Unless
Yeah.
it's something really high in prestige like Star Wars, right? So Men in Black International is, I feel like, up to par with the rest of the Men in Black sequels. And I think people just have some rose-colored glasses about Men in Black 2 in particular. Uh, and it's just disappointing because Men in Black International I thought starts really well. I really like the Tessa origin story of sorts, kind of the way she's playing this like spunky character and how she gets into the Men in Black and all that. I really like that, but as soon as the bad guys show up behind that dude in Marrakesh, and it's like, all right, it's like it just kind of grinds the movie down. It's like these lifeless, personalityless villains that are just there to be defeated.
Yep.
The Hive, no other presence, no contribution, you know,
But
just
Dave,
disappointing.
they can break dance. Like I felt like that was kind of like something they really wanted to like pimp out
Mhm.
for some reason. I found that incredibly strange.
Yeah.
Um, and I actually feel like the lower budget really stood out because even if you think about like Men in Black 1, like you get to see like a really big alien. Like that cockroach alien, I forgot his name, but like the one that that
Yeah.
they're fighting at the end. That's a lot of CGI, especially for that time period. But in this one, like the hive, you kind of see, but they're kind of just this like I don't know, blob that Liam Neeson turns into for like the last, I don't know, 5 minutes of his
Hmm.
time on screen. And the rest of it is just like in this portal. It's the shadow, and I felt like they really like for a movie that has so many aliens involved in it. Like you really see what Vungus, you see that one that Tessa Thompson befriends as a child that's grown
Yep.
up, um, and then like kind of the ones walking around the the headquarters. But other than that, you don't really
Mm.
see a ton of aliens until like I guess High T becomes the hive monster or whatever he is.
Right. And
I don't
Kumail, of
know.
course.
True. What did you think of Pawnee?
Uh, I thought a lot of his jokes were actually kind of funny, but like
Kumail's
they're
great.
running the jokes. They're running the jokes out like really, really fast.
Hmm.
So it's just kind of like not all of them will hit. You're just running. You're just going through them. I really like the when he was like being the intermediary between Hemsworth and Tessa. I
Hmm.
thought that was kind of funny. Um, but yeah, I mean, some of the jokes are bad or corny, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and I think maybe his appearance as this kind of like cutesy guy probably rubs some people the wrong way or just feels unnecessary. But I mean, to the budget, I feel like if some of the set pieces or action moments were just a little cooler, I think that would
Mm.
really benefit the movie. People would be more forgiving of the textbook mediocre villain, you know. But it's just kind of a story that just doesn't feel that large. As you said, not a lot of aliens. This is Men in Black International. And yes, we go around the world, but it always kind of feels small scale. And usually I like that, but everything else around the framing of this story wants you to think the opposite. So
Right.
it doesn't quite mesh. But for what it is, I still enjoyed my time with it. And like I thought Hemsworth and Tess, as you said, they had great chemistry. I just really like them as performers. So even if I'm watching them do mediocre material, I still don't mind it.
Yeah. Hemsworth, especially, I feel like has established himself as more of a comedy actor
Yes,
recently.
it's true strength.
Um, I mean, it's crazy. You think about even like Ragnarok, where he's the star, but that movie is very funny, and I think where it thrives the most is him just being this like goofy Thor instead of like the more serious one from the first two Thor movies.
Yep.
Um, and then obviously in Endgame when he's Fat Thor the whole time, I think he provides a lot of comic relief. So he's on a bit of like a comedic heater, and Tessa Thompson. I mean, her and Janelle Monáe, dude, whatever they want to do, they just kill it every time. Like, what a couple! God damn. Ah, I
Yeah,
have no
man.
more to say. Those are all my thoughts about that.
It just big picture, it is disappointing that this movie is underperforming because this makes four sequels basically in a row this summer that underperformed. Godzilla 2, Cedar Life of Pets 2, Dark Phoenix, and then Men in Black International. Those are all big budget sequels not made by Disney. Yes,
Hmm.
Dark Phoenix is now under Disney, but they didn't produce it, of course. And now what happens? We get Spider-Man, Lion King, and Toy Story 4 next week. There's no non-Disney blockbuster until Hobbs and Shaw, beginning of August. It's like all the other studios kind of fired their bullets or punted
Yep.
on the window, and now it's Disney's time just to take more of the money, take more of the market share. Kind of disappointing, not what you want to see. But at the end of the day, you got to make smarter choices, make the movie better, or make franchise adaptations that people actually want to see. As you said, unnecessary. I don't know how many people were excited to see more Men in Black with or without Will Smith. So 10 years ago, tired line, but 10 years ago, this movie is just a big budget sci-fi alien movie with Tessa and Hemsworth. That's its own
Yeah.
thing. But you can't make that now unless you attach it to something else because you're not going to
Hmm.
get $100 million otherwise. And that's what they had to do. Just a shame that they didn't make something a little better.